So the Social Security Amendment Bill has passed its final reading and is expanding the welfare traffic light system that was introduced last year. Starting from May 26, job seekers on a benefit who don't meet their obligations could face two new non-financial penalties. One where half their benefit is loaded onto a restricted payment card for essential items only, and another where they're required to take part in community or voluntary work for at least 5 hours a week over 4 weeks. From October 20, additional measures will kick in, including mandatory job skills training and weekly reporting on job search efforts. Other policy changes include requiring job seekers and their partners to complete a job seeker profile before receiving support and extending how long previous obligation failures stay on record from 1 to 2 years. What this is meant to hold repeat non-compliers more accountable and could result in benefit cancellations if they refuse to meet requirements. From July 1, those receiving job seeker support will need to reapply every 26 weeks instead of once a year, giving MSD more chances to check in and offer employment support. A little bit to take in, team, but I wanted to give you the rundown. Social Development Minister Louise Upston says these changes are aimed at getting more people into work and cutting the number of job seeker recipients by 50,000 by 2030. And she joins me now. Louise, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Leah.
Appreciate you sitting there listening to all that, Louise. Had a bit to get through, but you know it all. But I want to talk to you about it. A few changes to come that are being staggered through the year. Are you happy they strike the right balance between support and accountability?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the first things I did when I became the minister is, very deliberately reset the welfare system so that the welfare system is based on rights and responsibilities. Yes, the welfare system is there to support you in your time of need, but there are things that you need to do to help yourself. And if you are a job seeker, they're pretty simple and straightforward. Obligations to look for a job, have a CV, apply for jobs, take a job if it's offered. And there's consequences if you don't. So this is the next part of that work. Because what it concerned me that the only sanctions that were available were financial, and actually this provides a suite of options that a case manager can use on an individual who has not complied with their obligations, but it's still about improving their chances of finding a job, because at the end of the day, we want more people off welfare and in work.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about having half of someone's benefit loaded onto a restricted payment card if they don't meet obligations? That one always tends to get a little bit of pushback from the other side. Where can that card be used and what can it buy?
Well, the first thing that I need to address is, because I find it fascinating that the opposition parties get so up in arms about it. Yeah. Because this is instead of reducing someone's benefit by 50% or 100%. So they keep 100% of their benefit, but we restrict how they can spend it. So, as I say, it's fascinating that the other side gets so wound up about this. Because I think this is a sensible solution. It means people keep the full amount of their benefit, but their choices are restricted for a period of 4 weeks.
Okay. So it's only for a small amount of time.
No, it's only for 4 weeks.
Right.
It is a consequence of them not fulfilling their work obligations. Yeah. But it doesn't financially.
Yeah, you're not taking money away. And Louise, I'm gathering it's for supermarkets, right?
Totally.
That's where you can use it.
So your petrol, your supermarket. There's a youth money management system that's in place for those on the youth payment card. It's very similar. So the shops that are accredited to use this, it's all very simple and straightforward. But it's a consequence, and the consequence is having fewer choices available to you for a temporary period of time.
Another change is requiring to take part in community or voluntary work for at least 5 hours a week over 4 weeks. Louise, is that going to be hard to monitor? Does it need to be like meaningful, or just to make sure that they're doing something?
Well, again, for some people, actually
Yeah.
turning up on a regular basis to an organisation when they're meant to is an important part of getting ready for a job.
Yeah.
And so we wanted it to be meaningful in terms of actually helping them to get ready for work. It's only 5 hours a week because actually they still have obligations to be finding a job. So there was, in the House, there was a bit of a debate on, perhaps those supposedly mean, nasty people at MSD expecting someone to work 50 hours a week.
Yeah.
No, that would be ridiculous because they have obligations to be looking for a job. That is the end goal.
Yeah.
So the community work experience is 5 hours a week. It means it's contributing to an organisation in their own community. And actually, who knows, in the longer term, they might want to continue that relationship with the community organisation as a volunteer. That would be a super bonus outcome. But we're trying to find ways where there is a household, particularly with children, where financial sanctions are, in my view, not the best option. We wanted to find alternatives, and this is one of them.
Why move to a 26-week reapplication period for job seeker support?
Well, the reality is if we want more people in work, we have to, MSD needs more contact with them.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was suitable. Yeah, totally and absolutely. So have your circumstances changed? Are you doing the right things to find a job? How can we help? Is there some training you need? But actually, no, once in 52 weeks is insufficient. We are serious about reducing the number of people on the job seeker benefit. 50,000 by 2030 is a very steep ask, but we will throw everything at this because we know how important it is for people to be in work, for them, for their children, for their community, but also for us as a country. We cannot afford the track we are on with the number of people on benefits for as long as they are.
Louise, I spoke with Christine Rankin yesterday. I just get she's such a hoot. And she just, she's quite a regular and shoots from the hip. And we were talking about, this topic. And, of course, she was the boss of WINS. And she just, like you, Louise, she said, we just can't continue to hand out money. It has to be, we've got to get them into work and change their mindset. And she said that when she was in charge, I said, well, how much is it costing the country? And she said, well, when I was in charge, it was 14 billion a year. She said, and I have no idea what it is now. I think last year, no, what is it, Louise? What was last year?
We have to be fair in recognising that the total bill includes superannuation, which of course the costs of superannuation are growing.
That's huge.
So the total Ministry for Social Development vote was 44 billion.
Yeah, I think that's what she said she looked at, yeah.
Yeah. So yes, it's a significant amount, but we should recognise that includes big ticket items like superannuation.
Yes.
But look, I look at it this way and say for every single person that we get off welfare and into a job, it makes an enormous difference for them in their lives and their children. And if we're serious about reducing the number of children living in poverty in this country, the best thing we can do is get one of their parents a job. And that's why I'm relentless about this. I am not giving up. This is an ambitious target. But as a country, we will only decline if we don't have more people in work. And it's important for community connection. It's important for people's feelings of contribution and connectedness.
And to stop intergenerational,
totally.
Louise.
Totally.
That's, you got families going back 3 generations, 4 generations, that this is how their life...
And it's amazing. It's really amazing when you hear the frontline staff at MSD, when they get a win. And I was in one of the offices a week or so back, and one of their frontline staff said they'd just got a woman into work who'd been unemployed for 10 years. Oh. And she was so excited, like it was such an amazing buzz for her.
Fantastic.
To have finally helped this woman find a job, which is just so rewarding. And look, so for every one person
Yeah.
it is life-changing, and that's what we've got to do more of.
Can I ask about the partners in this? Applicants for certain benefits and their partners, if relevant, will be required to have a completed job seeker profile before they're granted a benefit. Is that to stop what? Or what's one
Well, what
that
this,
you tell
this,
me?
this, you know, the